I have to go ahead and just, okay, so what I've done here is I've kind of outlined the body. This is very form-fitting here. I've outlined this the foreshortened leg and the weight-bearing leg. I'm saying this for the sake of the video because I forgot to start it. All right, so everything else is going to be hugging the body, which will be covered by your template, okay? So now we kind of want to look at some of the garment details. So the thing is that this is the important part, okay? Nowadays, when you know, that's why I'm saying, like, if you're drawing this independently every time and you're getting it right, you know, please do so. But the most important thing that we want to focus on is what the clothing is doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this zipper that's coming down from the neck. That's coming down right, and it's kind of leaning towards the side for this left breast just a little bit, but it's kind of a thick zipper right there. We've also got some very visible lines underneath the breasts. Right here is where she's pushing. This is the side with the weight-bearing leg, so that means this side goes up. So that means that this knit fabric is being pushed onto her body, okay? And also where it stretches, where she's doing that walk, that means that this fabric is going to stretch across the pelvic region. There's also going to be, and I'm doing this in dark so you can see everything, right? So you can also see that there's a little bit of some garment detail there on the side. Everything else is pretty much skin tight here. So I picked a relatively easy one for you here. All right? Over here, I'm going to go ahead and draw in the rest of that hair. So she's got some hair like that brown one. You want to make sure that it's wavy. It's coming down here. Okay, so now I'm pretty much ready to color this in. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and color in her sunglasses black, and on her hair, I'm kind of going to do the same sort of thing that we did on that Kendall Jenner thing. You know, I'm going to make sure that there's some dark stuff at the top, so I'm using my dark brown pencil, and I'm also want to make sure that there's some dark stuff, and we know that the light is coming from the front and the top, and so I'm going to make the darkest part of this hair next to her face and also on the edges. And so remember what we did with the Kendall Jenner look for the hair. You really are doing the exact same thing, except it's not as complicated. It's not as wavy. So if I add just that, when I'm doing a very kind of slight, you know, this kind of movement with the dark brown, and then I add some more dark brown down here, I'm going to go ahead and use a skin tone marker and kind of blend things in. And I'm also going to, you know, I'm taking some black because this is going to be pretty stark coloring in. And then I'm going to go ahead and break the surface. Because she's moving and you want that hair to look like it's not just one big helmet. All right? So there we go there. I'm going to go ahead and do my skin tone first, and I'm going to do the holiday method so we don't, you know, it's kind of basic. Going to give a little shadow around the hairline, shadow under these glasses at the side, you know. And she's got some, I'm going to put some skin tone over there by her, on her hands. I'm going to do the outside of her legs, emphasizing at the knee, emphasizing at the joint, on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in below that, you know where that knee socks are, where it's black. Where it's not black, I'm going to go ahead and color in completely with my skin tone because I'm going to go over that because that's going to be my example of sheer right there. So I'm going to make sure that there's a lot of skin tone there, and I'm going to darken it up on this receding leg, okay? Now I'm going to tackle this dress. Now, this dress is kind of a color that I'm not sure I even have in my box. It's got kind of a light yellow. And, you know, there are various ways you could do this. I mean, you could actually fill it in with a yellow colored pencil, but if you do so, I don't want to see any of that grainy stuff, so I'm going to ask you to try to blend that in. But I'm just basically filling this color in with my canary yellow out of my Prismacolor. And I'm making this very light because it's a light color, you know. And we know that if I emphasize yellow for darkness, I'm not going to get it that much darker. So let me kind of monkey around with stuff. Let's see what happens with the, okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I used the canary yellow to kind of make a light yellow, and it's very difficult to see in this video because of the fluorescence here. But I'm going to use my goldenrod to emphasize where shadows are. Somewhere up here at the neck, underneath the breasts, on the sides, where we see this fabric moving, where it goes across. And this is a very light garment. So I'm not even sure. I mean, I may blend it in. Let me see what happens. My colorless blender is very colored right now. So all I'm asking you to, if you decide to go ahead and fill this whole thing in with colored pencil, don't do it on where it's going to be grainy. Okay, you don't want it to come out grainy looking. That always makes things look unprofessional. So I'm just going to take this. So I've just kind of filled it in with the light yellow, and I'm emphasizing the shadows with the goldenrod. And we've got a shadow on the edge here. Also got a shadow underneath. We want to do that. And then I'm going to go ahead and so I've kind of like mapped out, you know, that's why I kept this like skin tight and pretty simplistic, because there's only a few lines that are drawing across here. Okay? Make sense? So now I'm going to go down here to my to those knee socks. First of all, I'm going to color in the shoes in black. I'm also, what I'm going to do, because this is what happens when you do shears, and I'm going to go ahead and make the bands on the knee socks black. And then what I'm going to do, and this is what you usually do when you're drawing black or black shears, is I'm taking a mid-tone gray marker and I am going over that skin tone that I did before. I'm putting that first layer down, and it's just going to be one uniform layer. On that back layer, I'm doing one uniform layer, but I'm going to do it a couple more times because that back layer leg needs to look like it's receding more. I'm also going to blend in that black that I've done on the shoe, and then I'm going to take my gray marker and I'm going to, because with shears, you have to watch the sides. So I'm darkening it here on the sides, and I'm darkening it over here on the foot on the sides. Now over in this back one, this one is very dark. So I am just really laying it in there. So also, but I also, you know, you can go ahead and you can emphasize with your black pencil how the shears are at the side like this, just emphasizing this. And back here, I'm doing this kind of hatching and cross hatching to make this darker, and I'm going to blend it in again because when I'm foreshortening, I want this leg to look like it's going back, and it's the farthest away from the light. Now I'm going to take my skin tone marker again, and I'm going to add a little bit more just on top of this gray that I'm doing because, you know, before I just did the holiday method, but if I fill this in, it will make it look like this dark sheer is making the skin tone darker. I'm also going to go back up here with my skin tone marker and kind of emphasize some of these darker values, especially on this foreshortened leg. It's catching a lot of light, so you don't really need to fill it completely in. But then finally, I'm going to go ahead and do one more little layer of gray, and you can see that her leg muscle is a little bit more emphasized, so there's a little bit darker gray over here where in the front and at the sides. And so I'm also going to, let me see, do I need to, I think that's just about it. So I'm going to stop this video, and you guys have about a little bit less than half an hour to finish things up, and I will post this, and that will be our introduction. We are going to practice the dynamics of the runway pose, but I did not want to get caught up on the dynamics and keep you from rendering the actual looks in marker. Okay? So, thank you very much. I will upload this in just a moment.